Oi boys, welcome to another video on the channel. We are back with some Rugby 25 Early Access 3, their third major updates, and in terms of features, a lot has been added. So what I'm going to do is run through the quick inclusions here at the menu, play a couple of games, and give our feedback on said improvements to gameplay. So first of all, we'll run through the new features. So if we hit RB, you can see here now there's a competition tab and you can play the full 2024 American Major League Rugby season. So that's new. All fully licensed teams, and I think they said 5 stadiums. On top of that, they did add the Rugby Academy, and we won't really run through the settings and options in here as I already know that it will be pretty detailed, but you can create a player here, male or female, and clubs, of course, women's teams, men's team. The other features, the logo, stadium, and the community is still locked at the moment. But yeah, actually I do want to go ahead and check out a few hairstyles. So right off the bat, it is like an upgraded version of what I'm used to. It's something they did lack back in the day. When I say back in the day, I'm talking League Live 4, was the hairstyles. And going through these, they got some pretty hectic looking cuts, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, one would hope, given that rugby is a global game of multiple ethnicities and cultures, so it is dope to see these hairstyles in a rugby game finally. Plenty of options and plenty of textures was needed in regards to the hair, but a game can always look visually pleasing. If it doesn't play well, it'll all be for nothing, right? So overall, I am liking what I'm seeing in terms of options in this player creator. I did want to check out tattoos real quick. I did offer to create like some genuine Polynesian tats, and unfortunately it's looking like they got the same old generic tribal ones in here. It's unfortunate, and plenty of options from the older games. Only a few new ones that I saw. Alright, so on to the competition. I guess we can just play a few matches of this and I'll give my feedback. First we'll go and start a new competition, and here we are. We've already seen what the competition screen looks like, to be fair, but a fully licensed MLR, that's something I didn't expect this early into early access. I know nothing about any of these teams, so we're just gonna choose one of these teams to play with, and I'll pretty much talk over the gameplay. So I think with each different competition you get different intros, different HUDs, scoreboards, player icons, tailored to that comp. That's a pretty neat little feature. In the patronage they called it unique presentation. Now I do like small little details like that. They do go a long way, and I'm hoping we get to see stuff like that in regards to gameplay, you know, like for instance a pick and go. Close to the line you'd expect players to be kind of hunched in their run. Seeing these unique HUDs kind of reminded me of a comment about a small little detail like a player's posture during a pick and go. Alright, so what they've said in the patch notes regarding gameplay, there's only one bullet point. It says improve the gameplay. Further gameplay improvements have been introduced, including wider pass timing windows and increased offload chances, improved player movements, and correcting a few rules errors. Rules errors? So that's all we got. As for my experience in these games that I've played about 5, crashed about 3 times, I've got to say there is a substantial improvement to passing. I'll do my best to highlight some nice pass sequences for the most part. We're able to shift the ball down the line, we're able to quick pass smoothly. That's been pretty impossible to do since the game's come out, so a huge improvement in terms of quick passing. I will say though about quick passing, there are some pretty slow floating type passes, so the speeds still need to be tweaked with that. Another major improvement to passing has been the offloads. You can now, from what I know at least from the games I've played, offload at will. Now you may be thinking offloading at will could be a little cheesy, but you really have to time your moments or pick your moments wisely, as a poor offload will result in a drop ball or a turnover. So I would say overall the improved passing is definitely positive. It's not there yet, does still need tweaking, but there's definitely a major difference to how it was in the previous build. It's great timing too, because not only have the user offloads been tweaked, but the AI seems to offload the ball a lot as well, which is something that I wanted to see in our latest review, or our previous review, and it's a really good change, although they are still making some pretty terrible decisions when it comes to passing in general. Not really the offloads, but the random passing back against the grain when they have an overlap and stuff like that. The AI's decision making and pass selection is definitely something that needs to be tweaked or looked into. In terms of gameplay, that's all that was addressed in the notes. Another feature that got added was the match stats. You can now view those. That's nice. Stuff like that, you can sort of expect them to slow drip into these updates. You know, match stats, pre-game lineups, the ability to manage your lineup. Those types of features I'm expecting to see in coming updates, as, you know, it's what you'd expect in the full release of the game. Now, I do want to chat more about my experience in the current build, in particular the ruck. We'll start with that. Now, for me, it feels like it's almost impossible to pull off a turnover, and some games have turned into absolute slugs, and not the good kind. It's when the computer just hogs possession and you're unable to steal the ball. Now, the game didn't always feel like that. I'd say about 2 updates ago, stealing the ball at the ruck was too easy, and now it's gone back to being way too hard. They still need to find that balance with the ruck. The difficulty I'm playing on, by the way, is easy, and yeah, it did feel kinda tough when it came to rucks, so much so that I stopped trying to kick for territory. Speaking of general play kicking, there seems to be a slight improvement, as I was able to kick for territory and get some decent distance. Now, that was only when I was able to pass the ball to the player directly behind the ruck, the player that's deepest. Box kicking still needs some more hang time, I guess. We need like a way to control the height like in the kickoff with box kicks, I think. So general play kicking overall, the time it takes a player to catch and then get boot to ball, I feel that part is just way too slow. You know, unless you have a considerable amount of distance between you and the defender, you're just not going to get those kicks off. If they do start focusing on general play kicking, I would like to see an overhaul with the gauges, because I can barely see what it is I'm supposed to time when I'm going for those certain kicks. Punts, bombs, rubbers even. So for one, it's too small, and I feel like the color scheme needs to change to stand out, I guess. But yeah, I guess that's personal preference. I don't really have much else to talk about in regards to the gameplay. It's a big step forward. It's slowly turning into what I imagined it'd play like. And after this goes up, I'll definitely be interested to see what others think. Not only in the comment section, but on the forum, as there's always some detailed breakdowns in there. By the way, I'll leave a link to the forum if you are experiencing some bugs and glitches and whatnot. Looking forward to the future. We did get a sneak peek of what's to come, not only in this upcoming month, but next month as well, in October. So for September, they have improved gameplay, of course. That's an ongoing thing. Additional academy functionality. That's dope to see. I really hope they take on board the improvements I did suggest. They also have an additional licensed competition and further player photogrammetry. Now, October will be interesting because they've got improved gameplay, additional licensed competition, and player photogrammetry, but they've also listed online play. I'm hoping that the game is in a decent enough position to actually play decent games against other players, because at the moment, it's way more playable than it was for me in the previous build, but it's not really improved enough for me to enjoy the game for longer periods. And that's just against the computer. I can't imagine the hiccups when trying to play against an actual person online. Now, that's several minor and major updates ahead. It does make me wonder just how much the gameplay will evolve up until that online feature update. Will we see tactics, both offensive and defensive? Will we see set plays? I feel like there's so much work to do before even taking this game online, especially considering that we haven't really gotten the basics fully ironed out. I will say this, if the gameplay isn't really, I guess, up to scratch, I definitely won't be playing online, that's for sure. And saying that, it does make these next few updates an interesting watch. As per usual, if you did enjoy the video, be sure to run it straight at that like button. And for more Rugby 25 content, or more content in general, go ahead and drop your boy a cheeky sub. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you later.